welcome. This is Alan Cave and folks like them. I want to talk a little bit about how we record our songs that you're hearing on the internet. I'd like to introduce you to two folks from Nashville that I've known for about 10 years. First, Rod Lewis. Rod's the owner, and he runs the 515 production studio in Nashville, Tennessee. And Rod's a bass player. He plays on almost every song that I've ever recorded there for the last 10 years. He's also a great songwriter and my friend for 10 years. So
thank
welcome,
you.
Rod.
Thanks.
The other person I'd like to introduce you to is Chip Hardy. Chip is a multi-instrumentalist himself and a great writer. He's had just about every job in the music business. And he is currently the producer and studio manager at the 515 production studio. Welcome, Chip.
Thank you, Al. Good to see you.
Good to see you guys. Today, I thought it would help folks out if they knew how we actually make these great recordings that you're hearing, that we're starting to release on the internet. And these two guys right here are responsible for that. So I usually send them a demo. So the first section we're going to talk about is a work demo. And these days, it's usually an MP3, not a work tape, but I'm sure they'll take just about anything as a work demo as far as the way you send it to them. So in the first section, we want to talk about turning a work demo into a song that you can actually pitch to publishers or pitch in the music industry, or if you are going to release them yourself as an artist, you can do that. Guys, I think the first question I'd like to ask, and either Chip, I'll send it to you first. How good should the work demo be?
The work demo needs to be just a keyboard or a guitar vocal presentation of your song. I've always said, and I stand by this, the worst thing that God ever did was give songwriters the ability to use multi-track. What typically happens if somebody has got a little Pro Tools system or whatever, they either get so married to their work demo that it's impossible to make them happy, or the thing is just so screwed up that we can't tell what really is going on and what the meat and the heart of that song should really be. So the simpler the better is what I'm saying. Keyboard vocal, guitar vocal.
Rod,
yeah,
you got it.
I'd say that's about 98% true. I think we have a couple of writers that can pull that off, Chip, but very few. And those are usually the stronger writers that aren't necessarily married. They're just kind of into recording, into the process, and they're not married to their own work tape, which it's very dangerous. And as coming from a songwriter perspective, I think that's very dangerous. And both of you would probably agree with that. I mean, if you're going to hire, Nashville musicians and Nashville producers and engineers to come in so married to your song that you won't let them do what they would their instinct would allow them to do to make your song better.
Okay. Well, I will interject one little story. I remember sending a demo in the early days where I had used a drum machine for the drums. And I know that you guys will give back to the writer what you think he wants to hear. And since I didn't stipulate that I didn't want that groove, then the drummer played that very groove for me, which was the last thing that I wanted.
Right.
But I didn't say that. And from then on, no more drum machines, no extra stuff.
Well, and that's a great example because these, our normal drummer, Tim, is so good that he can hear something and he'll play it right back for you.
Right.
Most of these cats will. So, I think it behooves you as a writer to come in, like Chip said, less is best, probably. But
I remember also Tim actually fixed that for me.
Yeah.
Because he realized that I didn't want that, and right. He went the total 9 yards and fixed the thing for me, which is something else you guys are really great at. So kind of bouncing off that, what are some of the problems you've encountered over the years with writer demos that really, wasn't going to work for the writer or for you?
You want to speak to that, Roy, or you want me to?
Go ahead, Chip.
Well, like I said a while ago, we have had people who just sang their songs in the air. I went down to this mountain and I found a little. We can't make heads or tails of that crap, guys. If it doesn't have accompaniment and it doesn't have meter, we can't tell what it is that you're going for. Those have been some of the really, really hardest things. And again, back to what we've been saying, it needs to have a keyboard or a guitar accompaniment with somebody singing it, whether it's you or your co-writer or a friend or, whatever.
So, Rod,
Well,
sorry.
I agree with Chip, and I'd just say add, it's not that hard to find a co-writer that can play an instrument. I mean,
Right.
at least I don't think it is, so if you are a lyricist and, find somebody to co-write with, just look around. I mean, it can't be that difficult to find, I wouldn't think, in today's modern age, so.
Well, we've also had writers that said, "Oh, I don't want to do that because I don't want to give half of my song away." Well,
That's silly.
50% of nothing is nothing.
Right.
100%
And you really don't have a song. You have a lyric.
No,
You don't have a song.
That's exactly
So
right.
you have not yet written a song.
That's right.
Well, also, I've found that although I play an instrument, so not had that problem, but if I wanted, I'm a guitar player primarily, if I wanted to do a piano song, you're not really going to give half of your song away if you find a piano player and just say, well, here are the changes and have him play it for you. So you can usually, I've found, get as much help as you want as a writer,
I agree. And I don't know why some writers don't just, do that instead of sending like Chip saying, just something in the air. And the biggest change, Chip's ears are so good. People don't have a tendency even in the air to sing in the same key.
Right. That would be me.
And some people will do it, or they used to on cassette, but even now with a digital recorder, sing a verse, stop, sing a verse, and then the second verse is in a completely different key. And, Chip's poor ears got to be going, whoa, 'cause
It's not only in a different key, but the meter of that verse is all jacked up from the meter of the first verse. So there's no way to write a scratch chart to it.
Right.
And I think that's something else that we need to cover here in this work demo section, is that after we receive your guitar vocal or your keyboard vocal, we write a scratch chart of what you sent us.
What is a scratch chart, Chip?
It's the number system, and it's written out what you sent us. It's the chords to your song with the measures, the bars that you have sent us, so that Rod and I are looking at that piece of paper when we are talking with you later on about arrangement and about what the song should be. We've got to have that as a jumping off point.
Right. So probably, and to wrap this section up, probably if you're not getting a work demo that's acceptable, that you can write that scratch chart to, you're probably going to be right away before a pre-production meeting, which we'll cover in the next section. You're probably right back on the phone or email to that writer saying, you did not give me enough to work with here.
That's
correct?
That's exactly right.
And that might be a good spot to end this section on. And the next section coming up, we will tackle the pre-production meeting.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Good. All right. Talk to you a bit.
Okay.
Thanks, Al.